For my presentation, I decided to dive into gender in the workplace. I thought this was a cool topic found throughout Chapter 9 in the textbook, and it kind of applies to all of us as we're getting out of college and going to be going into the workplace. An overview of what we'll be talking about, we're first going to define gender stereotypes, and then we'll look at generalizations such as descriptive and prescriptive, followed by authority, and then we'll take a look at workplace advancements. Before we go in and define gender stereotypes, we're first going to look at stereotypes. So this can be defined as generalizations about groups that are then applied to individual group members simply because they belong to that group. Whereas gender stereotypes are generalizations about attributes of men and women. Furthermore, they are beliefs about how men and women typically act based on their gender stereotypes. The content of stereotypes has been studied extensively, and researchers have identified the attributes that are thought to characterize men and women. And some examples of this are agency is often taken to be a defining characteristic of male stereotypes, and commonality is the example for women as a common stereotype. Next, looking at generalizations within the workplace. So there's both descriptive and prescriptive properties. And to define descriptive, that means that gender stereotypes designate what women are like and what men are like, whereas prescriptive gender stereotypes designate what women and men should be like. Both of the gender stereotypes are the expectations that they produce and can compromise a woman's career progress, whereas descriptive stereotypes promote negative expectations about each gender, such as women's performance by creating a perceived lack of fit between the attributes women are thought to possess and the attributes that are necessary for success, which is found traditionally in male positions. As far as male attributes, they are believed necessary for successful performance in male gender stereotype positions and roles. Diving deeper into prescriptive gender stereotypes, they promote gender bias by creating normative standards for behavior that induces disapproval and social penalties when they are directly violated or when violation is interfered because a woman is successful. Research also presents that these tests and ideas are done through research and considers specific career consequences likely to result from stereotype-based biases, and it also identifies conditions that exaggerate or minimize the likelihood of their occurrence. To define authority, the definition includes a person or organization that has power or control in a particular environment, typically political or administrative atmosphere. Furthermore, women are rarely found at the top levels of the U.S. business organizations, and actually they only are made up of 15.2% of the corporate boards of the Fortune 500, which is a super interesting fact within one of the journals. And it was also cool because they added on within this resource that the U.S. is not the only place that has this issue. It also exists in Europe. Furthermore, the general view includes men as more suitable for authority than women. Social Forces Journal tests a more refined hypothesis that the gender gap in the workplace authority is larger in positions that are relatively seen as suitable for men. So given that compared to women, men are generally seen as more competent and status-worthy, it is likely that more authority a position entails, the more it is suitable and seen suitable for men. By the same token, authority positions that involve tasks stereotypically seen as women tasks, such as people-oriented tasks, also associate with less status. This will also kind of tie into the next slide as well. But many are seen as relatively more suitable for women within these less reputable tasks, and these views is partly determined to the extent of which men are overrepresented in certain types of positions, and the gender gap in authority should be much larger in the subset of jobs entailing more authority and tasks that are culturally seen more appropriate for men. So our last topic to dive into is workplace advancements. Furthermore, workplace task allocation can be defined as small differences in how men and women spend their time or how they are asked to allocate their time, which can serve as a barrier to women's productivity and furthermore their advancement in the workplace. A journal that I found called American Sociological Review explained that the workplace tasks fall on a spectrum, which is provided below, but it's a basis of promotability, so that it starts with high, goes on to low, and goes on to none. And these are framed as most important based on what the company finds fit, but many see that high promotability tasks are framed as most important to the organization's bottom line and can directly lead to promotion, such as these things might include research, product development, or sales. And then looking at low promotability, these tasks are necessary for an organization to function. However, it doesn't weigh as much as high promotability tasks. It's generally serving on committees, advertising, and mentoring, and these are generally tasks that women are super involved in over men. And then looking at non-promotable tasks, these are incidental to an organization's core functioning, yet they still occupy employee time. So some examples of these may be a special event or something to do in the office, such as helping a coworker or different things going on there. And then the journal also suggested that compared to men, women spend on average more time on lower promotability tasks at the expense of time spent on higher promotability tasks, and this contributes to gender inequality within promotions, and it is implicating task allocation and persistence of workplace gender equality. And lastly, we have the resources page. Thanks for listening.